Hi guys, it's another making video, which is kind of a miracle for me. In the last video I said that I planned to make a bench for the garden out of sleepers, and although I'm technically not doing that right now, I am making something for the bench, the cushion, to go on top. I've got some watercolour effect waterproof fabric, and I've got some foam which is 6 centimeters thick. So this is the foam I've got. This is the lining that's meant to make it easier to go into a cushion cover. And trust me, it is. I've tried putting naked foam inside covers before. It doesn't want to go. And then underneath is the dark on wrap, which is actually adding extra padding to it, which will make it a bit softer, I think. I think the foam is 6, but with the dark on wrap it's more like 7. 121 unless I squeeze it, and then it's 120. So I probably got 120 by 40. 7 centimeters thick by 121 long and 40 wide, or deep. So you've got the length and then half of each side as the total width of the fabric. And then to go around the fabric, because this is just one single piece wrapping around the whole cushion, you then have depth of the cushion plus the thickness plus the depth again, and then the thickness again, so that's twice the thickness. If any of this made sense, yay! It makes sense in my head, but I'm not very good at explaining myself. I know what I'm doing. I think. Okay. For the length I need 126 centimeters plus seam allowance, so I do 1 centimeter seam allowance, so it'll be 127 across the length of it, and then across the width of it will be 2 40s, 2 40s and 2 7s plus seam allowance on both edges. So that'll be 94, 95, 96, I think. I'll double check. I'm marking out the dimensions of the foam on the fabric, and before I cut it out I'll actually put the foam on top and then wrap it and check that the seams will match up with the 1 centimeter seam allowance on each side. The zipper is going to run down the long side. Now that my fabric's all cut out, I can attach the zipper. I've got roughly 5 meters of zipper tape, zipper pull tabs. I'm just going to cut this slightly longer than the length of my fabric. So this is the right side of the fabric, the wrong side is just white. I need to fold over 1 centimeter to the reverse. And then this is my zipper tape, there's the front of the tape and there's the back. So I need to lay the tape on the back side where the fold of the fabric of the seam allowance is onto there, and I want to line up the edge that I've folded over with the centre of the teeth, and then this will create a hidden zip, and then I need to pin this in place. I'm just going to do that all the way along. I've pinned the zip down the full length of the fabric, and now I'm going to stitch it down. I'm just going to do a top stitch. The zipper is now stitched on and the flap covers up half of the teeth, so now I need to attach the other side. So I've folded it around on itself. My battery's about to run out. You just need to fold over your seam allowance, mine is 1 centimeter, and then line it up with the edge that you've already stitched and then stitch along there. So I'm going to pin all the way along like that and then top stitch. One side stitched, the other side pinned. To make it easier to stitch up the pinned side, I can separate the zip. And now I'm going to stitch down this side. My tripod has officially broken, so apologies for this angle. I can't do anything about it. My other camera is back on charge because the battery doesn't last very long. Both sides are now stitched to the zipper. Now I need to reattach the zipper to itself with one of these. The edges of the zipper tape are flush so that it's easier to line them up. It's not easy to do this. And they're not quite lined up, so let's go back. Hey, there we go. The two edges aren't completely lined up perfectly, but it's enough that it's not going to be noticeable, and these edges are going to be cut off anyway for the box corners. So now the zipper's closed up, and the fabric goes over the zipper to hide it. But you also want to take this off completely, because you want both ends to be attached. I need to attach the zipper pull tab again. Basically you want the entirety of the zipper closed so that you've got both edges flush for doing the sides of the seam. Both ends of the cushion are sealed. I don't know if you can see that. They're sealed. And I've left the pull tab in the middle. So you can see either side of the zip is sealed. And now we can, now we need to box the corners. Pull tab in the middle. First of all is I'm going to stitch up the open ends. So I'm just going to stitch all the way along, making sure that the zipper stays in the middle. So I'll fold that over and stitch along there. Both ends are sewn up. Now it's time to make the box corners. Oh, there goes my tripod. And it tends to be about... So to get the box corners, you need to open up the fabric like this. So you've got the seam in the middle, like so. So I've got my seam in the centre. I'm going to stick a pin to keep it in place. And then measure down 3.5 centimetres because that's half of the thickness of my foam, 7 centimetres. And then draw a line across. So this line here, just above my pin, that's where I need to stitch, and then I will snip off the excess. But I'll probably stitch all the corners and then I'll do a test fit, and if I'm happy with the fit then I will snip off the excess. And I'm lining up the seam with the zipper, and then I'm going to draw my line. This fabric is so sticky. These are the corners that I've stitched up. And on the zipper side, when you're stitching the zipper bit, you want to go over the zipper teeth. So I went along, hand cranked over the zip, then put it in reverse and went hand cranked back, then put it into forwards and hand cranked forwards again, and then continued stitching. I tried going over the zipper last time with the foot pedal and snapped the needle as soon as it hit the zipper. Even though it's a plastic teeth zipper, it should have gone through fine, but it didn't. It just caught it funny. So I always turn the dial to crank the needle through the zipper teeth. These are the corners that I just made. That should measure about 7 centimetres, hopefully. It's nice and snug. It fits, so I'm going to cut the corners off. So I can cut these off now. Just makes it a bit more neater. So nice. That's so good. I'm happy with that. I'm so happy with that. It's comfy. Just ignore my background. It's a bit of a mess back there. But I made a cushion. Yay! Oh, done.
Some fluff.
What are you doing?
It's not done properly without fluff. That better? Have you fluffed it enough? Oops, Bob.